Hey there, welcome to your personalized deep dive.
Into
Yeah, into the fascinating world of sleep, weight loss, and heart health.
uh-huh.
You've sent over like a really interesting mix of articles and research on this.
hmm
And I gotta say, some of this stuff is like blowing my mind.
Really?
Yeah, like did you know that when you're short on sleep, your body actually starts producing more of the hunger hormone?
Ghrelin.
Ghrelin, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like your brain's playing a trick on you, making you crave that late night snack even if you're not truly hungry.
it really is.
To help us unpack all of this, we have our expert here
Right.
who is ready to connect the dots and give us those aha moments.
Absolutely. Those hormones can really throw a wrench in your plans,
Oh, yeah.
even if you're like diligently tracking your calories.
Right.
But what's really fascinating is that sleep affects way more than just those late night cravings.
Okay, so we're talking about more than just fighting off that urge to raid the fridge at midnight.
Absolutely. Think of sleep as the foundation for your metabolism. When you're sleep deprived,
Hmm.
it's like your body's internal engine is sputtering,
Mm.
struggling to run smoothly.
Oh, wow.
This can even lead to insulin resistance.
Okay.
Meaning your body isn't using insulin effectively to regulate blood sugar.
Got it.
And that leads to higher blood sugar, and you guessed it,
More fat storage.
more fat storage.
So even if I'm hitting the gym and like being mindful of what I'm eating,
Right?
skimping on sleep could be secretly sabotaging my weight loss goals.
Exactly. It's
That-
like trying to run a marathon with a flat tire.
Oh,
You might be putting in the effort,
yeah.
but you won't perform at your best.
Got it.
And there's another crucial piece to this puzzle,
Okay.
deep sleep.
Hmm.
It's like the VIP room of sleep stages, where the real magic happens.
Okay.
During deep sleep, your body releases human growth hormone,
Human growth hormone.
or HGH.
HGH. Okay.
Oh, it is intense.
This hormone is key for muscle recovery
Uh-huh.
and importantly for burning fat.
Okay.
Think of it as your body's overnight repair crew.
Working hard to rebuild and restore while you sleep.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I know I've definitely noticed that when I'm sleep deprived, my workouts feel way harder.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not hitting any personal bests.
Right.
In fact, one of the articles you sent mentioned a study where athletes who were sleep deprived saw a significant drop in their performance.
Wow.
It even went into specifics about how sleep impacts different types of workouts.
Oh, that's a great point. It's not just about feeling sluggish.
Yeah.
Sleep deprivation affects your reaction time, coordination, and even your decision-making, which can be especially risky during intense workouts.
So getting enough sleep could actually help me improve my workout performance.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's dive into that.
All right, well, the research you provided actually highlights some fascinating connections.
Okay.
For example, if you're training for endurance like a marathon, sleep deprivation can decrease your VO2 max.
VO2 max, that sounds pretty technical.
It is.
Yeah.
But in simple terms, it means your body can't use oxygen as efficiently.
Oh, wow.
It's like running with a weight vest.
Oh, gosh.
But when you prioritize sleep, you're giving your body the time it needs to recover and rebuild those energy stores,
Okay.
which can actually improve your endurance and speed.
Wow. I never knew that. So getting enough sleep could be the secret weapon I've been missing in my training.
It could be.
This is already starting to feel like a game changer.
And we're just getting started. You also included some research on how sleep affects strength training.
Oh, really?
Turns out, getting enough sleep is crucial for muscle growth and repair.
So if I'm hitting the weights, I need to be hitting the hay too.
Exactly. During deep sleep, your body releases those vital growth hormones that help repair and rebuild muscle tissue.
Okay.
If you're shortchanging yourself on sleep,
Right.
you're essentially limiting your muscle building potential.
That's amazing. I had no idea there was such a strong connection between sleep and athletic performance.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
And I think this highlights just how important sleep is for our overall health, not just for weight loss.
Absolutely.
And speaking of overall health, you also sent over some research on the link between sleep and heart health.
Yeah, it's a fascinating area.
Yeah.
It shows just how crucial sleep is for our cardiovascular system.
That was actually a big part of my research request, so let's dive into that connection.
Okay, think about it this way. When you're sleep deprived, your nervous system is basically stuck in overdrive,
Oh.
like a car engine constantly redlining.
Yeah.
That means your heart is working harder, leading to higher blood pressure.
Right.
And we know that chronic high blood pressure is a major risk factor for heart disease.
One of the research papers you sent even mentioned a link between poor sleep and inflammation, which we know is a key player in heart disease.
Yeah, it all ties together.
Wow.
Chronic sleep deprivation can create a cascade of negative effects on your cardiovascular system,
Oh, gosh.
increasing your risk for all sorts of problems.
So it's not just about feeling tired and groggy. It's about protecting my heart health in the long run.
It really.
Speaking of the heart, one of the terms that kept popping up in my research was heart rate variability,
Yeah.
or HRV. What's the deal with that?
That's a great question. HRV is basically a measure of the tiny variations in time between your heartbeats.
Okay.
A good night's sleep can actually improve your HRV,
Uh-huh.
which is a sign of a healthy and responsive heart.
So it's not just about how fast or slow my heart is beating, but also about how adaptable it is.
Exactly. Think of it like this. A healthy heart is like a well-trained athlete,
Oh.
able to effortlessly adjust to different demands.
Right.
Sleep helps your heart stay in that top shape,
Okay.
ready to handle whatever comes its way.
Wow, that's a great analogy. It really makes me think about sleep in a whole new light.
Yeah,
It's not just about feeling rested, it's about setting myself up for success in every aspect of my life.
absolutely.
From my workouts to my heart health, this is definitely eye-opening.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to explore when it comes to the science of sleep and its impact on our overall well-being.
I'm ready.
But before we dive deeper,
Okay.
maybe we should take a moment to think about some of the practical things we can do to improve our sleep quality.
You're right. That sounds like a great place to pick up when we come back.
Yeah.
We'll be back soon for part 2 of your deep dive into sleep, weight loss, and heart health.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to our deep dive.
Before the break, we were getting into some pretty amazing insights about how sleep impacts everything.
Yeah.
From like how our bodies burn fat to how well our hearts function.
Right, and we even touched on how crucial deep sleep is
Yeah.
for muscle recovery and athletic performance.
Right. And I'm already feeling more motivated to prioritize my sleep, knowing how much it can affect my workouts.
Yeah.
But I'm also eager to learn more about the practical things I can do
Right.
to improve my sleep quality.
Well, you're in luck. We've got a whole treasure trove of tips and strategies.
To explore based on the research you provided.
Amazing. Let's dive right in.
One thing that often gets overlooked is the impact of light on our sleep-wake cycle.
You mean like those bright overhead lights we're also used to?
Exactly. And especially blue light,
Okay.
which is emitted from electronic devices like smartphones,
Right.
tablets, and computers.
Oh no, you're going to tell me I have to break up with my phone before bed, aren't you?
Well, let's just say that scrolling through social media before bed isn't doing your sleep any favors.
Okay.
That blue light can actually suppress melatonin production,
Uh-huh.
making it harder to fall asleep.
Melatonin being that all-important sleep hormone we talked about earlier.
Right.
The one that helps us drift off to dreamland.
Precisely. So one simple but powerful tip is to create a digital sunset in the hour or two leading up to bedtime.
Digital sunset, I like that. Sounds way more appealing than just saying no screens.
Right.
Yeah, but what does that actually look like in practice?
It means powering down those devices.
Yeah.
Dimming the lights
Uh-huh.
and allowing your body to naturally transition into sleep mode.
Gotcha.
It's like signaling to your brain that it's time to start winding down.
So basically creating a more calming and sleep-conducive environment.
Exactly.
Instead of that like buzzing, bright, overly stimulating world that we're all plugged into.
Yeah, you can even use amber-tinted glasses to block blue light if you need to use devices in the evening. They're kind of like sunglasses for your sleep.
That's a great tip. I've definitely noticed that I feel more wired after spending time on my phone or laptop before bed. I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to try that digital sunset idea.
Yeah.
And speaking of setting the mood, I've also heard that temperature plays a role in sleep quality.
You're right. Temperature is a big one. Your body temperature naturally drops as you fall asleep.
Uh-huh.
So a cooler bedroom can actually help facilitate that process.
So crank up the AC or crack open a window.
Ideally, aim for a bedroom temperature between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, I can definitely get on board with that.
I've always been a fan of sleeping in a cool room, but what about those nights when my mind just won't quiet down?
Oh, yeah.
You know, when I'm lying in bed and my thoughts are racing about everything from work deadlines to what I'm going to make for dinner tomorrow.
A monkey mind, right.
Yeah. Any tips for dealing with that dreaded monkey mind?
Yes, the monkey mind. We've all been there. It can be so frustrating when you're trying to sleep,
Right.
but your brain just won't cooperate.
Yeah.
One technique that can be incredibly helpful is mindfulness meditation.
Yeah.
It's like a gentle way to train your mind to focus on the present moment rather than getting caught up in worries about the past or the future.
I've heard of mindfulness meditation.
Yeah.
but I've never really tried it.
Uh-huh.
What does it actually involve?
It's a practice of paying attention to your breath, your body, and your surroundings.
Okay.
Without judgment, instead of getting swept away by those racing thoughts,
Right.
you simply observe them without engaging with them.
Okay.
It's like watching clouds drift by in the sky. So instead of trying to force my mind to be blank, I'm just acknowledging those thoughts and letting them pass without getting all tangled up in them.
Exactly. It's a much gentler and more effective approach
Yeah.
than trying to wrestle your thoughts into submission.
Okay.
And there are lots of guided meditations available online
Uh-huh.
or through apps that can help you get started.
Okay.
Some people find it helpful to do a short meditation right before bed to calm their minds and prepare for sleep.
That's really interesting. I'm definitely going to give that a try.
Yeah.
It sounds like a much more relaxing way to wind down than scrolling through social media. And speaking of things that can rev up our minds,
Right.
one of the research articles you sent mentioned the link between high cortisol levels and sleep disturbances.
Hmm.
I know cortisol is our primary stress hormone, but how does it actually interfere with sleep?
Well, when we're stressed, our bodies release cortisol,
Right.
which is designed to help us deal with challenging situations.
Uh-huh.
But when cortisol levels are chronically elevated, it can throw our sleep-wake cycle out of whack.
So finding healthy ways to manage stress is crucial for good sleep, right?
Absolutely.
Not just for our mental well-being, but for our physical health, too.
Stress management is like a superpower when it comes to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many effective ways to manage stress, such as exercise, meditation, spending time in nature,
No way.
listening to music, or engaging in hobbies you enjoy.
Right.
It's all about finding what works best for you and making it a regular part of your routine.
I love that. It's like creating a toolbox of stress-busting techniques
Yeah.
that you can use whenever those cortisol levels start creeping up.
That's a great way to think about it. And speaking of things that can impact our sleep,
Okay.
let's talk about another important piece of the puzzle, nutrition.
Mm.
What we eat and drink can actually play a significant role in how well we sleep.
Wait, really? So what I eat during the day can affect how I sleep at night?
It certainly can.
Uh,
For example, consuming large amounts of caffeine or alcohol close to bedtime
okay.
can disrupt sleep patterns,
Right.
making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep.
I know caffeine is a stimulant, so that makes sense. But what about alcohol?
Yeah.
I've always heard that a nightcap can help you sleep.
Alcohol might initially make you feel drowsy,
Uh-huh.
but it can actually interfere with deeper stages of sleep later in the night.
Oh.
So while you might fall asleep easily after that glass of wine,
Right.
you might not wake up feeling refreshed and energized.
So those nightcaps might be doing more harm than good when it comes to sleep quality.
Right. And it's not just about what we avoid.
Okay.
Certain foods can actually promote sleep
Really?
by providing our bodies with the building blocks for those all-important sleep hormones.
Oh, that's interesting. Like what kind of foods?
Foods rich in tryptophan,
Okay.
an amino acid that helps produce melatonin and serotonin.
Ah.
These hormones are key players in regulating our sleep-wake cycles and promoting feelings of relaxation and drowsiness.
So eating tryptophan-rich foods could actually help me sleep better.
It's worth a try. Tryptophan-rich foods include things like turkey, nuts, seeds, and dairy products.
So a small bedtime snack with some almonds or a glass of warm milk might actually help me drift off to sleep more easily.
It's certainly possible. And of course, it's always best to listen to your body and see what works best for you.
That makes sense. It seems like there's a lot of power in making mindful choices about what we eat and drink.
Right.
Not just for our physical health, but for our sleep health as well.
Absolutely.
And while we're on the topic of healthy habits, what about exercise?
Yeah.
I know regular physical activity is good for overall health,
Right?
but how does it relate to sleep?
Regular exercise can actually improve sleep quality,
Mm.
but the timing is key.
Okay.
While exercise can promote sleep,
Uh-huh.
it's best to avoid strenuous workouts too close to bedtime.
So hitting the gym right before bed is probably not the best idea.
Probably not. Intense exercise can raise your body temperature and make it harder to wind down.
Right.
It's like telling your body to go full speed ahead when you're trying to hit the brakes.
That makes sense. So morning or afternoon workouts might be a better option for some people.
It really depends on your individual preferences and schedule.
Right.
But it's worth paying attention to how exercise affects your sleep and adjusting your routine accordingly.
Okay, I'm starting to see a theme here.
Yeah.
It's all about paying attention to our bodies,
Uh-huh.
recognizing those individual cues,
Right.
and making adjustments to support our sleep.
Exactly. And the good news is that even small changes can make a big difference.
Mm.
You don't have to overhaul your entire life to start sleeping better.
Yeah.
Start with 1 or 2 small adjustments and see how your body responds.
That's encouraging.
Yeah,
It feels more manageable to focus on those small wins rather than trying to change everything overnight.
absolutely.
But before we get too carried away with all these amazing tips, I want to circle back to something we mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
the importance of seeking professional help
Yeah,
for serious sleep disorders.
that's a crucial point.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that sleep disorders are medical conditions
Uh-huh.
that require proper diagnosis and treatment.
Right.
Self-treating can sometimes make things worse.
Yeah.
So it's always best to consult with a healthcare professional
Right.
if you're having persistent sleep problems.
It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet yourself when you really need to call a plumber.
Exactly.
Sometimes you need expert help to get to the root of the problem.
And when it comes to sleep, there's no shame in asking for help.
Right.
Getting a good night's sleep is essential for our health and well-being, so it's worth seeking professional guidance if you're struggling.
You're absolutely right. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from light exposure to nutrition to exercise to the importance of seeking professional help when needed.
It's a lot,
What a wealth of information.
and we're not done yet. There's still so much to uncover in the world of sleep.
Oh, wow.
But before we dive into the final part of our deep dive,
Okay.
let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've learned so far.
I love that idea. It's like pausing to savor the flavors of a delicious meal before moving on to dessert.
Exactly, so let's take a deep breath,
Okay.
acknowledge all the new insights we've gained,
Yeah.
and prepare for the grand finale of our sleep exploration.
Welcome back. It feels like we've already uncovered so much about the world of sleep.
It really is fascinating.
From how it impacts our weight to like the crucial role it plays in heart health.
It's amazing how much we're learning about the power of sleep, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've still got more to explore.
I'm ready for the grand finale.
Our-
What other fascinating insights have we got lined up?
Well, before we wrap up, I wanted to bring us back to a key theme that's woven throughout all the research you provided.
Okay.
The powerful connection between sleep and stress.
That's right. We touched on that earlier. About how stress can like mess with our sleep.
It's not just a one-way street, though.
Really?
Lack of sleep can actually increase stress levels, and high stress, in turn, can interfere with sleep.
So it's like a vicious cycle
Right.
where poor sleep fuels stress, and then that stress makes it even harder to sleep well.
Exactly. When we're sleep deprived, our bodies pump out more cortisol,
Right.
that pesky stress hormone we talked about.
And high cortisol, if I remember correctly, can make it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep, leaving us feeling even more wired and tired.
You got it. It's like a double whammy.
Oh, gosh.
And to make matters worse,
Okay.
high cortisol can also lead to other health problems,
Wait.
like weight gain, high blood pressure, and even a weakened immune system.
Wow, that really puts things into perspective.
It does, doesn't it?
So managing stress isn't just about like feeling calmer and more relaxed.
Right.
It's actually crucial for protecting our sleep and overall health.
Absolutely. Stress management is like having a secret weapon in your sleep arsenal.
I like that.
And luckily, there are tons of effective ways to combat stress, like exercise, meditation, spending time in nature, or even just taking a few minutes to unwind with a good book
Right.
or a relaxing hobby.
It's all about finding those little pockets of peace in our day.
Yeah,
Those things that help us de-stress and recharge.
exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's as simple as taking a few deep breaths and consciously letting go of tension.
You know, it's funny, we've talked a lot about the negative consequences of poor sleep, but hearing you say that actually makes me think about it in a more positive light.
Oh,
If we can learn to manage our stress and prioritize sleep,
yeah,
it's like we're setting ourselves up for a whole cascade of positive effects.
that's such a great point. There's so much to gain from making sleep a priority.
Yeah.
It's not just about avoiding those negative consequences. It's about actively creating a healthier and happier life.
It's like we're investing in ourselves,
Right.
both physically and mentally.
I love that analogy. Getting enough sleep is truly an act of self-care.
Yeah.
It's like giving our bodies and minds the gift of rest and rejuvenation.
And it's something that's within our control.
It is.
We might not be able to eliminate all the stressors in our lives,
Right.
but we can make choices that support our sleep and help us manage those stressors more effectively.
Exactly. By making small changes to our daily habits and routines, we can create a more sleep-supportive environment
Right.
and reap the incredible rewards of restful sleep.
So for someone feeling inspired to make some changes,
Yeah.
what would you recommend as a good starting point?
I'd say start by identifying one or two key areas that resonate with you.
Okay.
Maybe it's establishing a consistent sleep schedule, like we talked about earlier.
Uh-huh.
Or perhaps it's creating a relaxing bedtime routine
Yeah.
that signals to your body that it's time to wind down.
Those small changes can really add up over time, can't they?
Absolutely. And remember, consistency is key. It's not about being perfect every single night. It's about making a conscious effort to prioritize sleep on a regular basis.
It's like building a new habit, one restful night at a time.
Exactly. And if you stumble along the way, don't beat yourself up.
Okay.
Just gently guide yourself back on track.
Yeah.
Sleep is a journey, not a destination.
That's such a great reminder. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what's the one key message you hope our listener takes away from all this?
I'd say this.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's essential for our physical health, our mental well-being, and our overall quality of life.
Yeah.
So make sleep a priority, not just tonight, but every night.
Beautifully said. It's been an incredible journey exploring the world of sleep.
It really has.
And I feel like I've learned so much along the way.
Me too. It's been a pleasure diving into this topic with you.
Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into sleep, weight loss, and heart health.
It's been fun.
Thanks for joining us on this fascinating exploration.
Sleep well.